Welcome back to the K.I.S.S podcast, where we talk about kind of interesting stuff sometimes. With me every time, except for that one time, is Christopher.
Hey, what's good?
I'm your host, Annie, and this time we actually have a guest. Peter Grins on the mic.
Hey guys.
This time we're going to talk about vacations.
So then, where to begin, everyone? I suppose we should introduce Peter first. So Peter, tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe a vacation you've been on.
Alright. I'm Peter Grins. I am a published poet in several different places. I've been published in Ireland, New York, and on the internet, because I don't know where the third one was. Just in the general internet space.
It's a big space.
Yeah, definitely. So, I got a lot of coverage with that.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess the last vacation I went on was my vacation to Washington, D.C.
When did you take the trip to D.C.?
I believe it was about 4 years ago.
Oh, so you probably have a pretty good memory of it. When I took my trip to D.C., it was when I was like 11 or 12. It's been a long time.
I see.
We went as a kind of like a family. Back when my mom and dad were still together, actually. We decided to go to D.C. because I guess my dad wanted to go because he wanted to visit the capital of the country. It seems pretty cool. So we decided to pack up and go on a trip there. It's obviously a long distance from Illinois, where I live, to hold on. It's in Maryland, right?
Well, part of it's in Maryland. It's some
Damn,
weird.
I'm uncultured here.
Technically, the Washington D.C. does not exist in any state. It's in a bubble outside of every state.
It's in the District of Columbia. Ooh.
So some of it's in Maryland, some of it's in Delaware, I believe, and some of it is God knows where else.
Sure, okay. But primarily Maryland, right?
I think so.
Okay, well, if not, who cares? Ain't no fact checking.
Someone will let us know.
Well, I'm fact checking as we speak. So yeah, it's in Maryland and it's also in Virginia.
Oh, Virginia, that's what it is.
Those are the two states it's in. But I don't believe it is in. I don't believe that the district goes out to Delaware because it might do. Yeah, because that's more like Baltimore. It looks more like that.
Okay.
Baltimore, actually, no, Baltimore ends before you get to Delaware as well, so yeah. Yeah, Washington, D.C. That sounds fucking fascinating. I've never been to Washington, D.C., and I'd love to see it sometime.
We, during the road trip, they wanted us to plan, like, different things to see on the side. Like, hey, look up a map and look up things on the way, and if you want to go stop somewhere, plan it, and we'll do it. Well, none of my other siblings wanted to do anything like that, and it's fine, whatever. It's a lot of work to go plan shit, I suppose. So I looked up and I wanted us to go to the Santa Maria, which was one of Christopher Columbus's boats, allegedly, that he sailed over here to America with.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Santa Maria, the Nina, and the Pinto. The Santa Maria obviously is not a full original boat. It's been rebuilt a couple of times, but it's still pretty cool. It's just like this nice big colonial merchant ship just sitting on the water, and you can go get on it and walk around, see the quarters and stuff like that, and hear tales about stuff. Obviously, probably most of them are made up because they need shit like that for tourists stuff.
Oh, of course.
Hell yeah. All the British people going over there and buying into it, like, oh yeah, this is so cool. It's like, yeah, it's probably made up, but yeah.
Yeah, this is where he landed. This many miles inland. You didn't know?
Yeah, he actually like land in South America?
I think he landed in the Caribbean, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
He never touched North America.
That's hilarious. That's funny that you guys just celebrate that then.
I believe they just renamed Christopher Columbus Day to Indigenous Species Day.
Indigenous Species Day? That's even worse. No.
Yeah, or maybe Indigenous People Day. I don't know.
I think it is Indigenous people.
Yeah, whatever.
I would hope so.
That'd be very, very offensive if it was Indigenous Species people.
Yeah, let's dehumanize them.
Yeah, it's just like, they're not even human, so like,
They're just a species.
What the fuck?
What did you do in DC?
I did all the touristy stuff. I went to the Smithsonian's. I went to go see the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, and I watched the Change of the Guard. I saw the White House. I accidentally snuck on a tour bus that you had to pay for by accident, and I had them take me all the way to my hotel, which was actually really funny.
That's pretty goddamn funny, I'm not gonna lie. Like, how did you manage? Did they even ask you, like, at the end?
I thought it was a public bus because it looked like a public bus.
Yeah.
And I just got on it, and the people didn't question me at all. They were just like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?"
More often than not, if you act like you belong there, they just let you on. Like, oh, hey, yeah, you're supposed to be here. You wouldn't be an idiot, would you? No, of course not.
You wouldn't be some sort of moron who climbs on an unknown bus, would you? Nah.
Nah, can't be.
But I literally
You must be supposed to be here.
But I literally got on.
As long as you look smart, that's what matters, right? Like you look like you're intelligent, so
Of course,
fine.
confidence is half the battle.
Yeah, sometimes all the battle. Every now and again, but yeah.
So I got on the bus, and he's like, "Oh, here's this, here's that, here's the Lincoln Memorial, here's the Roosevelt Memorial, or whatever." And at the end of it, he's like, "Where can I drop you off? Because it's getting cold." I went, I think, in around January. It's getting cold, and it's a long walk to wherever you're going. And I'm like, "I stay here." And he's like, "Oh, I could just take you there. That's fine." So I ended up stealing a tour, and then commandeering the bus all the way back to my hotel.
That's fantastic.
That's legendary moves right there.
I'll try my best.
So in the in DC, I see that's this is gonna sound like the stupidest question. That's where the White House is, obviously, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, good to know. And is that also where the massive museum is, like the Lincoln Museum?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't because
All of that's kind of in like one big outside hallway.
Okay, good. Because I had an argument with an old friend like ages ago, and they were like, "Oh yeah, the Lincoln Museum's in a different place to the White House," and I was like, "I'm pretty sure it's not."
The Lincoln Museum is in Illinois. There is a Lincoln Memorial
that's what I meant, like
near the White House.
The memorial, which has a museum as well, though, right?
Not too much. There's a
Oh.
couple of things about it, but it's mostly just a bunch of statues. The Lincoln. Oh, look at Lincoln. Ooh, look, come see Lincoln. That's all in Illinois.
Yeah, that's the thing I meant. Yeah. Okay.
Look at Lincoln. He looks like Zeus. He's sitting up in a big old chair in the middle of a Roman-style pantheon. But not a god, though.
Imagine the size of that stone penis.
Good.
You know, somebody was like, "Do I sculpt it? Do I have to?
Do I sculpt it under his clothes, make it hollow?
For like chiseling a dick.
Do I give that tiny little bit of like, like that dent in your jeans that makes it look like you always have a boner, but he doesn't because he's the president and he's classy like that? Of course he doesn't have a boner, but he looks like he does.
Now here's the real question. Do they go the way of the David, or do they embellish a little bit?
Exactly.
Lincoln, I mean, just based on the size of his hat,
Fair enough, fair enough.
Yeah, you got a point.
he had a big beard, big legs, big hat. I mean, what else has he got?
Man with the big hat's gotta have a big dick.
You can't just shortchange him like that. I mean, he is on the penny, but that's not the point.
He's also on the 5, though. He's the only president that got 2.
That is true.
Well, no, Washington's on the 1, so he's got 2 too.
I'm glad you guys know this.
It'd be really cool if we got an alive president on our money, and then it'd be worth nothing until he died.
Yeah, well, I've got a bunch of dead queens and royalty on my fucking paper, so yeah, check that.
I want a Trump dollar bill, okay? It'll be worth nothing, but it exists.
That'd be kind of funny. Like, it just classifies as half of the value of the money that it is until he's dead.
It'll be a collector's
I
item.
want a Trump dollar bill. It'd be worth something in the end, because that would be just a meme.
I forget if it was the $1,000 bill or the $5,000 bill that had Woodrow Wilson on it, and it was
$5,000 bill?
yeah, there was
Yeah.
either $1,000 or a $5,000 bill. I can't remember which one it was.
I think it was the 1,000, because I think 5,000 would have been a little bit pointless.
Yeah, that makes
I
sense.
didn't think there was a $5,000 bill. I understand that.
We've had some discontinued currency,
Okay, fair enough.
Like the Kennedy $50.
and sort of like the $2 bill. It's not fully discontinued, but it is removed from...
Circulation, yeah.
They don't really make new $2 bills. Not often.
That's crazy to me that there's $5,000 bills. Can you imagine just being tipped by a $5,000 bill?
Whoops! Hey, I gave you the wrong one. That was supposed to be a 50. Nah, you gave it to me.
It's too late, buddy.
Too late now.
It's in my hand.
Too late. The government already taxed me on it.
No givesies backsies.
Wait, there's a $100,000 bill? Excuse me?
Yeah, for what's his name? The roadway guy.
Woodrow Wilson apparently is the guy that's on it.
No, but I mean they made it for people that were so rich, like Rockefeller and stuff.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean, what else would you need the $100,000 bill for? I'd like this boat, please.
That's insane.
Yep, here's $2.
Which stands 2 notes over. Like, here's 2 pieces of paper that give me.
Interestingly, these cost the same amount to produce as the symbols.
God fucking damn it! I can't believe like how currency works sometimes. Like, I'm just like, why is this a thing? Every now and again.
Oh, we had a debate about that on my most recent vacation. I went to there's this little town called Branson, Missouri. It's like a touristy place. It's got all sorts of attractions and crap.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't go to Branson. We went south of Branson about 30 minutes to this little town called Lampe, and we rented a cabin on the lake. It was really nice. There was water activities, like you could go swim in the lake. There was like a water trampoline, canoes, kayaks, paddle boats, and then on the like the grounds itself, there was mini golf, shuffleboard, bocce ball. I think there was a sports shed with like balls, like soccer and stuff, but we never played any of that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, there was also bikes. We didn't discover that until like the last night we were there, because they were hidden behind a storage shed.
Nice.
Not really hidden, but like the little bike rack was right behind the storage shed, so you would have to be just wandering around looking for things.
That's kind of awkward
to find it, unless somebody told you where it was.
There were bikes? What?
Yeah.
What? Where? Yeah, they're over there. They're over there behind that work truck. It's like, why do you park the truck in front of the bikes? So you can't find them.
Makes it really good as a part of the attraction, you know, like, oh yeah, did you know those bikes? It's like, no, we didn't, you motherfucker.
Just to have this conversation later.
For real.
So this is why they hide the bikes.
Yeah, so we can rub it in your face that you could have been cycling around this whole time.
Well, we decided to take them out and try to bike up and down the hill. Not work out well at all, because the bikes are in horrible condition and their chains are terrible. So I couldn't get this bike to go forward to save my life, because I guess they're all garbage.
Speaking of equipment which failed on a holiday, so I went skiing once.
Oh, that sounds fun. It
was fucking amazing. It was when I was 14 years old and we went to Austria. And I can't remember exactly where we went because it was that long ago now. But we went up into this mountain and we were like staying in a super nice hotel which had an ice lake.
Mm-hmm.
Where it had like a big hole in the lake that you could see from afar. It was really, really picturesque. And the main thing I noticed there more than anywhere is that the air was so pure that it just felt like different air. If that makes sense. Like, it smelled better. Like, in every single way it smelled better than my own country. And like, to be fair, in England you can go to different spots which will smell pretty much just as good. But like, something about Austria just smelled really, really good for some reason while I was there. Anyway, the equipment there that failed was I got some boots, and they were first off, the boots were too tight the first day I went.
Mm-hmm.
But because they were so tight, I kept like wiggling around it, and I'm like, this fucking hurts. Are they supposed to be this tight? My mom and dad are just like, yeah, it's fine, they're meant to be that tight. I'm like, okay, like really in a lot of pain. So I'm skiing the whole first day, and then one of the clips that you put your foot into to like clip into the ski, as I'm skiing, because I'm wiggling my foot around, and I'm like, fuck, I twist my leg at the wrong angle.
Right, trying to adjust your foot, yeah.
As I'm going down a slope, and it just comes off. So I'm like one-legged on a ski, like, like, what's going on? Like, and the one ski's gone behind me, then I flip over, and I'm like in the snow, and I'm like...
And then you formed a giant snowball, and then you knocked over a bunch of pine trees like bowling pins. It was great. It was a great moment.
No, not quite that. My dad has a better version of this story, though, because he did something very similar, where on the same holiday, he broke a woman's arm.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me?
Yep. So
Man, I knew your dad had, like, rage issues. No, I'm just kidding. Your dad's lovely.
No, that's my mom, the band queen, remember?
So what did he do?
So he does a similar thing to me. And he loses control, but he doesn't, like, for no equipment failure usage, just goes too fast and doesn't know how to slow down. And he just... Woman is here, looks behind her, like... And it's like one of those moments in slow motion where you go... Aww. And that's what she goes. She goes like, aww. And the next thing you know, my dad just goes, and it just like slams directly into her. And just, she didn't try to press charges, nothing. She was just like, oh, I'm so sorry. She's apologizing for the fact that she got her arm broken.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, it was pretty funny because my dad also like collapsed and like flew into a bunch of stuff because he crashed into this woman. And it was just hilarious. That whole holiday was fun. But yeah, going back to my injury thing, as I came off the slope and like I did that, I had to take my shoe off because like this hurts too much, and there was a massive black bruise like surrounding the outside of my foot, like the middle part of my foot.
Ooh,
Yeah, I always get really bad luck with my feet.
you and your foot issues.
Like, I really do. It kind of sucks.
Like you're an anti-cat.
Anti-cat. Yeah.
Never landing on your feet.
Yeah, I mean, I land on my feet every time, and just my feet break.
Yeah, just the side of them.
Just the side of them where they can break. Yeah. But yeah, like Austria was definitely really, really fun. I didn't get to see much of Austria in terms of like the actual geography of the place though, because we only stayed there for the skiing, and the skiing was really fun though. So like other places I've been to in Europe though, and my favorite place to go back to, which I really, really want to go back to, is Italy. And man, I can't recommend Italy enough to anyone that wants to go.
What year did you go to Italy again?
I went to Italy in 2015? No, 2013.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was right around there.
Yeah, around that time. And yeah, I remember seeing the Colosseum, I remember seeing the Vatican, which obviously isn't Italy, it's in the Vatican. I went to see the Florence Santa Maria something. Massive, awesome, huge cathedral, which was in Florence.
I like big cathedrals and stuff like that.
We saw. I didn't get to see Venice. I didn't get to see Venice though. That's why I want to go back. Is because I want to see Venice as well. Saw the Leaning Tower of Pisa, Basilica St. Peter. That was really good. Peter should definitely go there, especially. You know, respect his saint.
I have a rosary from there, actually. I have a friend that brought it back for me when they went to Italy.
Oh hell yeah, that's nice.
Ooh, that's cool.
Spicy.
I don't have any souvenirs from any other countries or anything other than this lighter from Jamaica. I guess he's my stepdad now. At the time, he was my uncle-in-law. So he was dating my aunt Sydney, and they were married and they had a kid together, and they went to Jamaica. And things obviously didn't work out between them, and then Mike got together with my mom.
Okay.
Fast forward a bunch of years, they're together still now.
Wait. So let me get this straight. So he was dating your aunt.
He was married to my aunt.
He was married to your aunt.
I see.
Who is your mom's sister?
Through legal and familial bond. She's not blood.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes a bit more sense though.
Because I was about to say that's a weird situation.
My mother only has one blood sibling.
Got you. Okay.
Fair enough.
So, yeah, they went to Jamaica and they said, "Hey, is there anything, do you want any souvenirs or anything?" I was like, "It'd be super cool to get a lighter because, Jamaica, smoking, all that stuff." I was like, "Yeah, that'd be cool." So I have it somewhere. I don't know where it is.
Somewhere, yeah.
It's just a nice little metal clipper lighter that says "Life is good."
Oh, that's really cool.
If there's anything I've learned over my time of going on vacations that I regret, is that I really need to buy more souvenir type things. Because, I don't have items.
I find that buying souvenirs sucks, and sometimes you forget where you got it. My big thing is stealing something or taking something off of something that shouldn't have been removed.
I don't think I could do that.
When I was on this last vacation, we spent a lot of time in this little back porch area next to a fireplace. And during one of the times we were just sitting there smoking and chilling, a part of the wall fell off. Like a small little fake brick fell off the wall. So I took that brick. It's free. It's a souvenir. It means nothing to anyone else. If anyone looks at it, it's like, why do you have this weird brick? And then I can tell them this exact story and how much I enjoyed the time there.
I used to do that a lot, where I used to take weird little things that meant something to me, but didn't mean anything to anybody else. And then I found over time, I would forget the meaning of these little things, and I'd end up just having
random junk,
little bits of junk all over my room. And I'm like, I need to stop doing this.
When you forget about it, that's when you move on from it and get rid of it.
That's true.
You can't hold on to everything forever.
That's fine.
That is true.
When I moved here, I got rid of a surprising a lot of things. It still drives me nuts that I can't figure out where my Alexa is. I'm pretty sure I gave it to somebody. Pretty sure, but I can't remember who because I was either high or drunk at the time. So, I don't know. I know I didn't need it or want it, and I'm still wouldn't use it even if I had it right now.
But it was mine.
But it is still a Bluetooth speaker. It's still nice. So, I guess I regret giving it away because I don't know where I gave it away at. I think I gave it, like I said, I gave it to a friend. I don't know who.
God knows.
I found that those little Alexas are just gimmicky anyways. My dad has one, and really what they used to use it for was they used to play Queen because my dad built his desk right next to the bathroom, and if someone was using the bathroom, he was like, "Oh, play Queen," so nobody hears you using the bathroom. And that was all they used it for.
Well, in that case, yes, it is gimmicky. Just having a cover up the sound of me shitting device.
Mm.
That's not really a good home application. I mean, unless it's like built into your toilet.
Well, I feel like it's more for the peeing.
Well,
Unless you're a really loud shitter. Like, what if you're like a really loud shitter? Like,
you don't even need to be a really loud shitter. It's just nice to have the tranquility of just having like a nice just sound or a song you like or something just playing instead of just listening to silence or whatever's going on in your phone. But I think that in that case, that's a pretty big waste of a Alexa. To be fair, though, I'm going to be honest. That's where I'd put my Alexa, is right above my toilet, and I would only be using it while I was in the bathroom.
Okay, fair.
So you also had a cover up for the sound of you shitting device.
You also had a shit muffler.
Exactly, yeah. I just play either podcasts or music right through it. It's pretty handy. Although I do not like Alexas. I don't like that you need to be subscribed to nearly anything with Amazon to use the Amazon services.
Mm-hmm.
A Google Home, which is my preferred usage, you can get one of those out of the box, and all you need is a Google account.
Yeah.
A brand new one, not even one that you've ever used before. Just any Google account.
That's true, yeah.
And then you can use the device. I wasn't talking to you.
Did he just go off?
I'd love to talk to you. How's your day going?
Oh, I hear it.
Thank you. It was very good. Thank you. I appreciate it, sweetie. But can you leave me alone right now?
Right.
Thanks for sharing. You know what always makes me feel better on good or bad days?
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, see, she's polite, a little annoying.
She's a little bit too polite. That's weird.
Yeah. Sometimes she gets in my conversations like that because she hears me talking about her.
The good days great and the bad days a little better.
Look,
If you want,
girl,
I can sing you a
I'm
song.
gonna have to come over there and karate chop.
Oh my god.
I like how she's offering friendly advice, though.
I know, but right now is not the time for that.
For real, like, goddamn.
Loud and clear.
Is it loud and clear?
Is it loud and clear though? Is it?
Man. So aside from that, I really like the Google Homes because you don't need a subscription to all of their services. You don't need a subscription to use YouTube. You don't need a subscription to use... Well, you need it for the music, but not the actual YouTube app.
Yeah. But you can link it to your Spotify anyway as well, can't you, on the Google Home thing?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's fine then, if you had Spotify instead, I mean. Yeah.
Whereas when I used my Alexa, if I was like, Alexa, can you play this? Or can you play that? Or can you look up this? It's like, you need a subscription to blank to do this action. Would you like to sign up? No, I wouldn't. I would never ever like to sign up.
Yeah, you got a point.
Yeah, that's the problem that my grandmother had with her Alexa, is every time she wanted to use it for anything, it's like, sorry, you're not subscribed to Amazon Music. Sorry, you're not subscribed to this and that. And there's already a language barrier there because she doesn't speak English. So she's like, just shut up. Just stop talking.
Right.
Like, I don't even understand what you're saying.
Stop saying so many words.
And then I tried to set it to Spanish, and it was just more of a hassle because now she can argue with it.
Oh, great. Good though.
I love arguing with it. I mean, that back and forth was priceless there.
Definitely. But but the difference is like, you're not getting through to it, and it's an inanimate object. My grandmother's kind of like, I'm going to reason with it. I'm like, you are two unreasonable forces coming at each other. What are you talking about?
One unreasonable person and one illogical computer. Good.
I don't know how this is going to end, but it's not going to end anytime soon.
It's going to end in headache.
It's going to end in one hell of a migraine, yeah. The thing that I found really annoying about Alexa, honestly, was at my parents' house, they've got one of those ones which just like sits on the kitchen counter.
Oh, yeah.
And like, so, and it's like got the screen on it and all that kind of stuff, and so like comes up like a bit more things. So like, Alexa, this amount of minute timer. And it'll be like, yeah, no problem. Would you like to do this? Would you like to do that? Would you like, I'm like, no. And so I reply with no, and don't tell me that again. I've looked in the settings, I've tried to make sure that it doesn't do that again. It just does it every time. It's like, would you like to hear your next notification for your baba? No, I wouldn't. Did I ask you? No, go away.
Did I stutter, Alexa? No.
Yeah, at least in the Google apps, you have the option to turn on and off follow-up questions or the window for it to listen after it says something. If I turned that off, it wouldn't have been doing all that back and forth with me. It would have stopped talking after it said the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because it wouldn't have been listening for me to reply. So I'm glad that I could turn off that setting if I didn't want it. It doesn't seem like it's that case with the Alexa. That thing wants to spy on you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure like even iPhones spy on you. I'm pretty sure every phone spies on you.
Everything spies on you, man.
Yep.
My water bottle right here, totally listening to me and reporting to Nestle.
Damn, Nestle.
To Nestle. To be fair, now that you said Nestle and water bottle, your phone probably has picked up the fact that you like Nestle and water bottle. So.
Oh yeah. And I'm gonna get 5 ads for it on Instagram right now.
That's why I don't use Instagram.
Nice. I still use Instagram, admittedly. I like a lot of social media crap, which everyone else hates. So I'm like, it's not that bad if you just use it right.
I rarely use social media, and I'm super bad about it because I want to have a social media presence, but I'm terrible at maintaining a social media presence. So it's like I will binge post maybe 10, 12 poems in the span of 2 weeks, and then you won't hear from me for 6 months.
You just need a PR person.
That's my favorite kind of content creator. Yeah, for real, you need like some PR represent everything you're doing.
Yeah, definitely. I tried using different apps like Planoly. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Planoly, but it's basically...
I've heard of Planoly, yeah.
Yeah, like you get to schedule your posts and you get to save your hashtags. And it was really great until it moved to like this paid system, or like not system, but you know, this paid architecture.
Subscription crap, yeah.
Oh yeah. And I was like, really? And it's like, you can only post 30 times in a month. And I'm like, well, I never post that much, but the fact that you're limiting me kind of aggravates me.
How dare you censor me?
Exactly. And then it was like, oh, you can't save hashtags anymore. And I'm like, what is the point of even
What am I
using
paying you for?
Well, I wasn't paying. But what is the point of...
What would I be paying you for?
Exactly. What is the point of using you if you don't save my hashtags and like I can just drop them into the post really quickly?
That's a shame.
I hate when apps update and leave you behind in favor of their new, like you said, paid subscription models.
Mm-hmm.
I miss the days when you could buy a package of software and just buy it and you'd have it and it didn't cost that much money.
I wish I could just pay a yearly license to not watch ads and not have to do all of this other premium features, because that's really the only one I care about. Well, no, that's not true, because I can't watch YouTube with my phone off. That's the number one feature I actually care about, because why do I want my screen on 24/7?
Yeah.
Oh, right. To get back on topic, you were talking about Planoly and how they deleted your hashtags?
Yeah. So I switched over to another app, and I forget what it's called. I think it's like Hootsuite or something like that. Haven't really delved into it. I just downloaded it while I was at the airport. I think I was in Tennessee, and I was taking a flight back. No, that's a lie. I was in Iowa to catch a concert, and I was flying back, and I was bored, so I was like, let's go make content, because this is the 21st century, and this is all we do. We're just content slaves. And I was like, I'm going to make some content while I'm waiting for this delayed airplane. And I downloaded the app to schedule some posts, never made the posts, never looked at the app, and it's still on my phone. Yeah, so.
Well, they did their marketing real well.
Oh, yeah.
An example of an app which I think I really want to use, but I just won't because of the fact that it costs money, is Finimize. Finimize is a investment in knowledge base, like super fast investment, like knowledge application based stuff. And I'm like, oh, this would be really cool to like learn and, you know, have a 5-minute look at it every day before work and stuff, and like try and figure out my life with what is good to invest in, and maybe put like £100 into different certain things and like all that kind of stuff. And then I was like, because I don't really have a huge amount of knowledge on what to invest in currently, other than like companies which I know that are going to continuously increase, like Apple and stuff. And then it said, so I got this ad on my TikTok saying, hey, download this app. I'm like, oh yeah, sure, I'll try it. And yeah, I opened it up and it says, would you like a free trial for our service? I'm like, no, I don't want to use a free trial for the premium service.
Period. Full stop.
And it says you can access one article.
That's
one.
It's good.
Yeah, you get to have access to one free thing. But there's like hundreds of things on this thing. Like there's hundreds of different stories and like different things. I'm like, what was even the point? You literally, the only reason you did this is so I could sign up to your app so you can spam me with emails and steal my information. That's it. That's really what this was about, is what I think.
So what you're telling me is they want you to make 100 accounts.
That's what I understood too.
I'm way too lazy for that.
He said he's too lazy for that. Making an email takes like 3 minutes.
3 minutes? Not even.
Well, depending on if you know where your phone is.
Fair. Okay, most of that time is looking for my phone. Fair.
You're right. Making a Gmail can take like 2 minutes. I mean, if you're on your own computer already, though, that's like you just speed run making like Christopher Hawker 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yep. Yeah, just start throwing random numbers on the end of it. I used to do that for BP gasoline. They used to give out these like promotional membership cards where the first time you used it, you could get 10 cents off a gallon.
Oh wow!
Up to like 40 gallons for your first fill up.
Ooh, that's not bad.
So yeah, so you could just you just make an account.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
So I just would make the account like give me gas 1, and I would just sign it up for this BP card and just swipe it and then get the gas discounted, and then on my way out just throw that card away.
Nice. That's brilliant.
And then the next card I would just have just give me gas 2.
Give me gas 2.
Swipe.
Give me gas 3. Give me gas 4.
Now, after doing that for so long, they did change the membership promotional thing.
My exploit is done. I can't do this anymore.
Can't imagine why.
From your first purchase to like your 10th purchase.
That makes sense, yeah. So you're not going to do that as much.
So it's like, nope, well, I'm not going to use your membership program no more.
The best exploit I ever had, which I wish I'd taken more advantage of, was back in Ireland, was Game and GameStop had trade-in game value. And Annie knows the story, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
So Halo Wars was a game at the time which cost €5 in game in the pre-owned section. But the trade-in value at game was €10.
Oh.
So I'd walk into GameStop.
You should have bought like 50 of them.
I bought like 30 copies.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I bought as much money as I had in my hands. I went and bought them all of the Halo Wars I had.
I want all your Halo Wars. What do you need all these Halo Wars? In case I want to play it more than once.
I do what I want with them. It's none of your business.
I'm a really big fan.
Exactly. What if I want to give it to my friends? Fuck, like, come on. Yeah, but I was clever. So I did it one time, and I didn't do it straight away. Like, I didn't run back and forth. So instead, the second time I came around to do it, it was $7.50 it got up to $7.50 in GameStop, and it was still only 10 games. I was still getting a return, which was good. And what I did was I bought a bunch of copies of that. But I also brought some of my own games to trade in, which were like, a few different ones just to throw it in there. And like, wow.
The pile of Halo Wars.
Just to mix them in the pile.
Mix them in the pile, yeah. So the second time I did it, they looked at me a bit funny, and they were like, do you have a lot of friends? I was like, yeah, loads of friends. Yeah, they just like to give me their games to trade in for them, and then because they can't be asked coming out, and then they completely bought it. And I was like, how are you so stupid? I've come with like now 50 copies of Halo Wars to this one store.
Let's be real for a second. What were they going to do? They weren't going to turn you away.
Was it 2 different cashiers?
They just deny you.
Oh, really? Okay.
Well, that's the thing. The third time I tried to do it, they turned me away.
Well, the first cashier you probably went up to, they were just like, nah, whatever, I don't care. I'm just going to do my job.
Yeah, because they were like, this is the same kid doing the Halo Wars thing.
The second one you went up to and did the next time, they're like, this is pretty weird, but all right. And then they go to the back and they're like, hey, so some guy just came in and he gave me like 28 copies of Halo Wars. It's like, wait, what? That happened to me the other day. All right, well, this guy, don't let this guy in here no more. He's obviously run some sort of scam.
86, this guy, he's done. He's taking us for a ride.
Not quite as clever as what one of my friends did. Well, not friends, he was like a friend of a friend at school. He was genius. So he would go into places, and by genius I mean kind of illegally genius. He had a printing machine which could print the images onto discs.
Ooh.
And he would just get the HD DVDs from a store, burn the disc from Halo, like any game at the time, and just take them into the trade-in store whilst getting those green boxes. Because you can just order those green boxes off of eBay, or like get random pre-owned games which are really cheap. Or just ask at the back of game at the time. You could be like, hey, can I have all these game boxes? Like, and I'll pay you some money for them. I'm just trying to like set up my own store, but just make an excuse. You could do anything. I don't know how he did it. I
just like my discs to be organized, and I have lost them because I have evil kids.
Yeah, like any excuse. Or you could just go. I'm pretty sure at the time you could literally go to there's like hardware, like software hardware stores,
and just buy DVD boxes and stuff like that. Yeah,
just buy boxes. Yeah, So you go that, and he would just straight up print out like fake copies of shit and just trade them in for money. And because obviously they're in good condition, he'd get the full price for them. So yeah, clever. I miss the trading market. It was fucking lit. Yeah. I don't think you can get like there's not many places in my country which other than like CX in game, and they're not really that popular anymore that you can just trade stuff in that. And the value for trading now is just stupidly low because everyone buys everything online, obviously.
Right outside of Walmart, most Walmarts anyway, there is like a little kiosk that you can sell phones in.
Mm-hmm.
It's the resale value on it is pretty low, but it makes me really just wonder how many people just steal people's phones and then just go to Walmart and throw it in this thing for $5, $10. Doesn't matter. It's money.
Yeah, you've got a point.
I could do. The phone is like the most cruel thing you could steal from a person.
It is pretty cruel. Yeah,
I agree 100%.
Like you steal their money, their IDs, and stuff like that. You know, that's all big hassle or whatever.
It's kind of like a fucked up thing to steal.
But if I steal the phone, I'm stealing all of that.
True.
Plus the only way you could probably get home.
Or contact you. Or...
And all your memories and photos, which might only be on there.
Exactly. If somebody stole my phone right now, I have no way to pay for anything because I lost my debit card, and I use my e-debit card constantly.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, I'm the same. I have a wallet, luckily, but yeah.
So if somebody took my phone, there went my debit card.
That's a rip, yeah. I mean, yeah, people stealing phones is just like a fucked up thing to steal. Like, go somewhere else. Go to some rich person who has an iPhone 14 Pro Max or something. Steal their phone. We don't have the like best top of the line phones, so why would they steal the shit phone? You know what I mean? Like, find someone with a better phone and steal their phone because they can clearly afford it. Like, goddamn.
Or just, don't
it'd
steal
be nice
phones,
if you just didn't.
Or just don't, yeah. That's the other thing.
No, it's just steal money. Or if you're gonna steal the money, or if you're gonna steal the phones, steal it from like Walmart and companies like that.
Yeah, true.
Steal it when they're unloading the truck.
Yeah, I've never understood why people don't do that. There's so many times where companies will be unloading trucks.
It would be so easy.
And they're doing the worst job of it, like security wise. Like they're not looking around. They're just like, and like. Yeah.
I work at Walgreens, and I'll fully admit when we're unloading the truck, if somebody wanted to, they could just walk straight into our stockroom and just grab 2 or 3 bins and just walk right to a truck that they parked right next to our stockroom door, and just whoop and just drive away.
Yeah.
It would be that easy.
You give me ideas.
Oh, whoops. Speaking of ideas, since we were talking about scams, or I guess, I'm currently finessing HelloFresh.
Oh yeah, how you doing that?
I'm repeatedly getting their free boxes and promotional membership discounts. I just ordered a box and they sent me 3 or 4 free box cards, which is great because if you're a member, they changed how you can send out the free boxes to people who aren't members. You have to earn up credits to be able to send them out.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, it's not a big deal. I mean, if I just buy a couple of boxes, I get a free box or 2 to send to myself.
Okay.
But ordering this one box, it just gave me 4 boxes. So I need to figure out how to order these before they expire.
Oh, wow.
And I'm just going to keep running the free box scam until, Amazon, it declines my card or something. It's like, hey, this is, no, stop.
Until I figure out to stop, yeah. Not to mention, these days you can just use Revolut or something to make another card.
Yeah, I use Privacy.
Oh, yeah, there you go, yeah. You just make a new card every single time you want to get anything, and then they can't really track you that well. And if you use a VPN while ordering as well, they have no way to track it.
Yeah, it's a lot of layers of security, because even if you're connected to the VPN that's closest to you, there's likely 1,000+ other people connected to that same VPN at the same time as you.
True. So
there's no way to tell who did it.
True. It was Joe Schmo from the UK. Just connected to a completely different country.
Yeah, and ExpressVPN will never give out that info because they don't have it.
That's true. Don't they auto-delete it or something?
They never save it.
Oh, they don't save it. That's interesting. I wonder if they just say that, though.
Sure, maybe they do.
And they just get hella money from everyone that's a criminal.
They're just like, hey, look at all this data we can sell.
For real. Like, can you imagine? Because I'm pretty sure there's got to be at least one VPN company that's probably going to do that at some point. They'll just sell out one day when they're not getting enough. Like, if NordVPN doesn't get enough sales, like, they'll just be like, hey, you better buy a VPN, or we'll leak all the VPN data. Like, that'd be fucked up. Yeah, just the VPN company goes rogue and just starts extorting its customers.
You know all that porn you were trying to hide? It's like, oh no, anything but that.
You're right. Yeah.
It would be super easy. I mean, if the companies that we give all of our data to turned on us, we would be absolutely fucked.
True.
Most of the time when people hack a company, they're not targeting the people they're hacking, like their data. They're targeting the company and using that data as leverage.
Yeah.
They like whenever Teapot hacked Uber, he didn't really care about your ride data. He cared about the value that ride data held.
True.
It doesn't. He didn't care where you were going or whose mistresses you were seeing.
Yeah, and if they send the FBI after those kind of people, though, all the time, like,
That doesn't matter.
a lot of the time when there are leaks, though, they will just pay people off because
That matters to the company, though, which is why they, always crack and they're like, "Oh well, we'll pay you, or we'll send the FBI after you." That's more likely.
you can't get the security services to hunt these people down every single time. You wouldn't be able to get them to sign anything because they probably want the money sent to like a private address with like a private account, which then instantly changes all the money from that account to another account to another account to another account. Like, there's no way that I don't think these people would give out their real name ever. Otherwise, you've just done the FBI job for them. So yeah, but yeah. So it's like there's like a lot of holes.
Hush money's pretty effective. Just get them to sign an NDA.
Yeah, but good luck getting an NDA getting signed because like they're not going to just come forward and say,
I agree. I just think that would be the right move for the companies to try to get an NDA out of it. Otherwise, you're just giving out money to whoever threatens you.
True.
That doesn't stop him from setting up like a time bomb or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A dead man
Like,
switch.
to leak the data.
Dead man switches are kind of scary to think about, like in the context of like private security and things like that.
Exactly. I forget what they're called. I think they're called logic bombs in IT,
Okay.
where it's like if something happens, if a certain time elapses, if you don't do something within a certain time, it'll send out the code,
Oh, okay. Yeah. I wouldn't know.
and it's just could be anything.
True.
Like, for instance, I'm going to publish all these things to WikiLeaks.
Yeah.
That's why I said most likely they just call the police. Just get the FBI and just get the FBI involved. I'm not going to pay this guy. If you can go get him for me, I'm not going to pay him.
Is WikiLeaks still a site that you can go on now?
I don't think so. I think it got taken down a couple years ago, if I'm not mistaken.
I was going to say, I don't think it's still up anymore, but I can double check. Oh, no, it's still there. Yeah, WikiLeaks.org. Yeah.
Yeah, so they move servers a couple of times. They're like Pirate Bay. They go down for periods of time.
That makes sense, yeah.
Ah, okay. But there was a big scandal with WikiLeaks not too long ago, if I'm not mistaken, right?
There always is.
It was quite a while ago, I think, actually, but because there's always something going on, because, like, when Snowden came out and all that shit happened, yeah.
People don't like open, free information. It's threatening.
This is true.
Being able to see people murdering their enemies is scary, and not for the general public, which is why it's not on the news. But it's important to have access to this information if you want it or need it.
WikiLeaks might have been stopped because every single article I'm seeing on here, they are all from 2008, 2016, 2017. Like, there's nothing that's been updated on this website, at least on this version of this website. I might be on
It's probably just on 12chan now.
12chan. What is 12chan?
It's like 8chan or 4channel, but it's just another one. There's 4chan, 8chan, 12chan, 24chan,
Oh, fair enough.
32chan. There's all of those.
Never even heard of them.
Yeah, because they're all just the same thing, but just different degenerate groups.
Right. I've never been on 4chan. What even is on 4chan?
Everything.
I barely remember what 4chan was. Wasn't it like...
It's like an internet forum with like loads of links on it, basically, right?
It's an image board.
Oh, it's just an image board. Okay.
Oh, okay.
The way it works is the page that you're on has a set amount of posts that can be on it, but those posts will be on there forever unless somebody posts something new, and then it will bump the list up or down, and then that last or first message will be deleted.
That's interesting. So it's like a temporary message board.
Yeah.
So if it can store 100 messages, if you went on there right now and typed a message,
I see.
message 101 would be gone. It's temporary and permanent depending on how active it is.
I see what you mean.
There's 4chan boards that haven't been posted on in years, and they look exactly like they have.
I just remember when I was a kid in high school, 4chan just had a bad reputation. I can't remember for what.
Because it's the freedom to be able to post whatever you want, and people would post things like people shitting on babies,
Oh wow, what the fuck?
and it's just like, that's not something I really want to see or experience, and so people would think, oh, well, that's what the whole site is.
Yeah, that's true. Like they get like, I imagine they get like lawsuits against them saying like, you're a child porn website. It's like, no, we just have people that unfortunately decide to post whatever they want on this website. So that's fucked up.
Right. Okay.
Have you ever gone to Kiwi Farms?
What?
Kiwi Farms?
No.
Okay.
What's that?
It's a website where a bunch of people keep track of, make fun of lolcows on the internet, such as like Chris Chan.
Yep, that's the internet for you. With anonymity, it comes all the bad shit that humanity has to offer.
No, don't know what any of that is.
Okay, that's good. You should stay away from all that.
Fair enough. I will.
Keep the darkest views that you have political. Because if you get into the psycho internet drama, things get faded real fast.
Fair enough.
Stay on the light side of the internet.
Yeah, I probably will for as long as I can. Yeah. So let's think about what other places have we all been on holiday?
I've been to Chicago a bunch of times because I've never lived in Chicago, but I've lived close to it.
But you lived.
Chicago's pretty cool. There's a lot of stuff to do there.
When did you live close to Chicago? Was that during your college days?
No, that was before 2004.
Oh, okay. I see.
Back when I lived near Rockford. Because if I tell anyone Poplar Grove, they don't know what that is.
I totally know where Rockford is. Don't worry.
Right, I was just about to say, like, what is Rockford?
Rockford is one of the bigger suburbs in northern Illinois.
Okay.
Sorry about my tone today, guys, as well. I'm super fucking tired.
Hey, that's okay. You recently got a job, so that's pretty big.
True.
Oh, yeah.
It's the first time that you've, at least from my perspective, that you've been at a job that you can both handle and seem to actually not hate.
True, yeah. Being able to do both those things is really important. Like, because I could handle my previous job, but I didn't like it at all. Like, it was just... it's nice to be working at a bar where the staff are nice and, like, the customer clientele isn't too bad and, like, I can chill out and, like, even though it's a lot of heavy lifting, it's, like, still really fun to, like, just be around people and do stuff.
Yeah. You had kind of a short shift today, so it was like a day shift. What was that like?
Really good, yeah. Like I said before the podcast, basically lots of ice moving, glass tray moving, putting glasses on the gantry. I think what else did I do? Put a load of cardboard away. Just lots of general stuff like prepping the kitchen up. Not the kitchen, the front of house up and like making sure everything's set up and properly for all the bartenders later on. So imagine, I think they said they've got a birthday party happening tonight and it's going to be like 100 people.
Wow.
Oh, that would be really great to work. Well, I guess my bartending instincts, living in America where you work off of tips. Exactly. I was like, 100 people with added gratuity.
100 people? Holy crap. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally want that. But I guess for you it'd be different because you make a living wage. So you don't have to suck up to these people.
I would have really been happy not to. I'm happy not to be working tonight, basically.
Different instincts.
Yeah, that's basically how it works. It's just we act nice to them and we still don't get any of the money. But yeah. Welcome to British culture, boys. You get fucked no matter what you do.
You get fucked on the way in, you get fucked on the way out. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
What do you do for work, Peter?
Oh, I work at we call it an ALC, an Alternative Learning Center. Basically, I get all the kids that get thrown out of their regular schools for illegal substances.
Oh yeah, that's interesting.
So let's say a kid brings a nicotine pen to school and he smokes it, he gets caught. He gets sent to me for 20 days.
Cool.
So I get...
So you're like the bad boys team?
You're
like the bad kids team?
Yeah, pretty much. Which, I get all the interesting cases, so it's fun.
You get all the renegades.
And I relate to these kids because I was definitely one of them growing up. I definitely did not have a good school career. So I'm definitely like, guys, chill out. It's all good. Just stop smoking weed in the bathroom and everything will be fine. They're like, no, man, you don't get it. I'm stressed. And I'm like, I have anxiety all the time. What are you talking about? I get stress, but I don't smoke in the bathroom. And that's kind of like not what I teach them, but like I imply very heavily, like, do this outside of school. don't do, or my exact wording is, don't do these things at school.
No, I do that in my car.
That's open to interpretation.
Yeah, because I'm not your dad. Whatever you do at your house, whatever, just don't bring that shit to school.
For real.
Exactly. Don't make it my problem.
Because otherwise it will be a problem.
For real.
Mhm.
What do you teach?
I teach anywhere from 6th to 12th grade and pretty much every subject.
Cool.
Because basically the way it works is they get sent work from their home school to their laptop because they all get a little standard issue Chromebook.
Mhm.
And they just do their work from their home school.
Seems really cool.
And if they need help, they ask me, and I Google whatever I can on my computer, and then we just figure it out. And then we have little like drug lessons, little social emotional lessons that try to teach them to be better people. A lot of the times they really don't give a shit, and that's fine. I don't give a shit either. It's just what the district,
Yeah.
it's just what the county like says I gotta do, so I gotta do it. But to be honest with you, I'd rather you guys just did math all day. Get your grades up. I don't want to teach you how to be mindful or any of this bullshit because you're 14. You don't give a shit.
That's true. Most people. I think it's important to try and get that instilled in people though at an early age if you can, because it's like, from my experience of my own mental health, like, yeah, it's. I wish I had been taught anything about mental health when I was younger because they might have prevented a bunch of stuff.
Oh, for sure. No, for sure. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah, because as you say, like, yeah, most people don't give a shit, but I feel like I would have given a shit because it might have resonated really hard. I feel like if you have, I feel like in schools, like, that should be something that's just taught, like, mental health as a class that you go to.
Mental health?
Why is that not psychology even? Just put it as psychology and then have mental health awareness within the psychology. Like, why is that not taught in schools?
Yeah, it would make. You make a fantastic point. That should be one of the base core things. You don't need to know all of the science stuff until later on.
No, definitely
Yeah, I agree
not.
with that.
Whenever you're young, you need to be taught how to be
Yourself in a way which doesn't hurt.
Yourself and personable.
That's the best. I was gonna say be like an adult, but no, you're right. Be yourself. You need to learn what I'm feeling and how to comprehend that.
Yeah, for real.
So definitely, I like and I hate the social emotional lessons because I like them because I think they're necessary. I think they're good. I think, it really helps the development of whoever's listening. The problem is that they're kids and they don't give a shit, so they ruin it for themselves. And it's just this horrible experience of like, well, now I got to sit here while you guys make asses of yourselves because you couldn't just sit here and like try to learn something.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other. I guess that's the problem with like being a correctional facility school, like kind of thing, where it's like, yeah, obviously you're gonna get all the bad cases, so your perception of like those kids will be obviously like pretty negative, I imagine, in that regard when it comes to specifically that.
Surprisingly, I do not have a negative perspective on my kids. Like, I meet them.
No, I meant like a negative. It is in like on the progression side of your perspective of them progressing as people when it comes to social emotional stuff, because like it must be really hard for them to like progress in that area when they're like being kicked out of school and stuff. Because I think kicking someone out of school is like one of the worst things you can do to a kid, because like then you're confirming to them that there's something wrong with them really badly, instead of trying to confront them and like be like, hey, what's going on at home? How can we help you? Is there something we can do? Like just having a chill chat with them. And like, I understand some problem kids are impossible, like because they just won't want to respond to you and they will just turn anything you say back at you again. But the reason why most people do turn into that kind of child is because they're either really hurt at home or because they have some underlying mental health issue.
Definitely. I do think that a lot of the issues that I have run into with these kids is just straight up abandonment in some way, in some regard or another. Abandoned by the school, abandoned by the parents, abandoned by teachers. You've been abandoned and you're just fending for yourself, and you're 14. You don't really know how to take care of yourself, so you're just doing whatever seems right. And it's sad.
Yeah, just going off instinct, yeah. It's
sad sometimes to see where these kids end up. Like, you want, at the end of the day, you go into it knowing that, like, they're going to be shitheads. Sometimes they're going to be a handful, but you still want the best for them because at the end of the day, they're still kids.
True.
And nobody wants to see a kid suffer.
Exactly. That's the main thing. I feel like it's, the world is definitely a scary place to think like that. not only like, because I talk about like how we need like psychological help and stuff in schools and everything like that. Everyone will agree. And for some reason, in the same breath, you can say we need free health insurance. Be like, no, we can't have that because that would cost the taxpayer too much money. It's like, what are you talking about? Mm-hmm. Like, you can't want the health of children and then not have the health of everyone involved as well. Like, I don't know, healthcare is just like such a polarizing topic in a lot of places, like in America, particularly because people are like, oh yeah, like you should have to work for your healthcare. Why should you have to work to live? Is something a question I ask people a lot. Is like, what is who wins in that situation that you have to pay to just be alive?
Everyone but you.
Like when you have to pay for rent and bills, and the only people that gain from that are big, fat, rich companies. It's a big scam at the end of the day.
I always like to say, if my tax dollars are paying for people in prison, they should pay for my medical bills.
Precisely, yeah. Like, what the fuck is the point of paying taxes if your taxes don't save you from bullshit?
What is the point of paying taxes if my taxes don't take care of me in some way in the end? I'm contributing money to the pool to help society, and it's going to all this random bullshit.
But Peter, you get roads. Shut up. You're fine.
Really shit ones too that don't get maintained.
Oh no, I have to pay toll for a lot of roads. I'm in Florida.
Oh, even better, fuck's sake. Oh no. Oh. I mean, you know, at least we all know where the money goes in America, straight to the military.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yep.
At least 25% of the entire budget of the entire country, yeah.
Yeah, boy. Guns.
It's most of the time more than that, but 25% is about the average. If we could cut that back to 15, we'd still have a really strong military.
If we didn't spend nearly $1 trillion on guns, we might be able to have healthcare. Who knows?
Just imagine that for a second. You're spending $1 trillion on potentially murdering other people.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool, yeah. Like, get big bombs, big missiles.
Yeah,
Missile go boom. We like boom. Monkey go burr.
You see how thick my armor is?
Like, fuck's sake.
You see how fat my bullets are? Mm-hmm.
But I love to hear people like in America where they'll try to justify it, like, well, we're going to war with Russia, so like we better fucking arm up to the teeth just in case. It's like, no you're already armed to the teeth. You've been armed to the teeth. How many consecutive years of spending billions and billions and billions and billions on military tech is it gonna take?
You only have so many teeth.
Like, it's like a shark if it had an exoskeleton of teeth, which could just all move at the same time. That's what America is to me.
It's like those sharks. Have you ever seen the inside of a shark's mouth where it's got like rows and rows of teeth?
Yeah, it's fucking horrifying.
That's America for you.
Yeah. You guys are the megalodon of the fucking world when it comes to like that amount of arms. Like, Jesus. God, I'm just
We have an unnecessary presence, but hey, you know, that's how we keep our relevancy in the global economic market.
No, of course.
I mean, markets as a whole to me just seem strange, like the way that like they're structured. Like we've obviously got like trade routes, and that's something that's necessary, like trading between countries. But war between countries, I'm just like, it's just a vie for resource control, right? But if you just I liked the idea a little bit, and I don't know how well this would work in the real world, like, as a thing. Where you just order things to become a thing, and you don't use currency as a methodology of that happening. You pay your workers, and you just print the money that pays them, and you just have a self-sufficient contained society within, like, a bubble. Like how like Japan did for a long time, where they just were separated and cut off from the rest of the world. You just become self-sufficient as a country. You don't have to trade with other countries.
I think Russia tried that a while back. I think in like the 60s. I think so.
Well,
they tried
that probably didn't work out for them because the USSR collapsed. So, yeah. And then again, to be fair, the USSR collapsing was definitely down to, obviously it was a doomed to fail system as well. But at the same time, it was also down to the fact that it's just badly run, really badly run.
Oh yeah.
And also the pressure from the outside world to make sure that they didn't ever take off. Like, the Cold War was huge.
It was definitely outside pressure and nepotism.
Yeah.
On a massive scale.
Yeah.
Because I remember, like, in World War II, just before in the purges, it wasn't like your merit, it wasn't like your skill, it wasn't what you could do. It was your loyalty to the party that kept you alive. So you had these generals that didn't know shit about commanding soldiers, but they were like the chairman of the board of directors of such and such Soviet whatever.
Yeah.
So they were spared. And the guy who actually knew what he was doing, he got sent to the gulags.
It's like, that reminds me a little bit of the story of how Stalin became to power. I think it was Gorbachev before him, or who was it before him? Was it Gorbachev?
Lenin.
Lenin. Yeah, Lenin. So when Lenin was going out of power, Stalin was the guy that appointed new positions to people within the government. So when Lenin died, he just appointed himself as the leader. So I was like, that's hilarious. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I think his first order was to, like, murder Trotsky.
Oh, yeah, I think so. I can't remember. Or murder a lot of people. He had beef with a lot of people, and a lot of people just started disappearing real fast. Like,
oh, yeah.
Yeah. Stalin, the great Houdini of the world. Like, just made
For
people
sure.
disappear.
And I think that was Lenin's greatest fear when he was dying, was that
Yeah.
I do not want Stalin in charge of anything, because he is just heavy-handed. He's just an iron
You
fist.
should have killed him first, then. Take him with him.
Yeah, no kidding.
That would have been a smart idea. We might have had a different world. I mean, he could have taken Hitler with him too. You know what the most annoying story about Hitler is to me? Is that he was spared in World War I by a British soldier.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
you
yeah.
can't predict the future.
Yeah,
In
but,
World War One, he wasn't like
He was just a
known to
runner.
be a horrible person. He was just a
but at
regular
the same
bad guy.
time, he was a German who was an enemy, and he had been beaten and defeated in combat.
So
And instead of taking the bullet and being honorable about the fight, he's like surrendering and being like this. And then, obviously, he doesn't get shot.
Hindsight
And
is
then-
always 2020.
Hindsight is always 2020, boys. Look at that. Next time you're at war and you're at war with a German or a Russian or whoever we're at war with, finish them off. You never know if they'll turn to Hitler.
For real.
Fuck's sake.
I bet you money that guy was shitting bricks later on. Like, oh my god, that's the guy. That's the guy I almost shot in the
this
trench.
motherfucker.
He's got a funny little mustache now. He definitely looks different, but that's the guy.
I swear that's the guy. Can you imagine the conversation with your buddies? Like, how embarrassed you'd be like, yo, I've got a problem. What? Remember that guy I spared back in the previous war? Like, he's kind of turned into a little bit of a problem character. You might know him.
whoopsie.
Fuck.
My bad.
It makes me wonder though, who really was the worst in World War II? It's hard to know because the British Empire, we fucked India really hard.
Stalin.
Like, we were all really terrible people back then. Like, every
Oh,
country
yeah.
was pretty terrible people.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
don't get me wrong, Hitler exterminating the Jews, awful, disgusting, vile. But also what everyone else was doing at the time was not equally, but also really fucked up. Like,
I mean, everybody likes to talk about the Holocaust and how terrible that was, and yes, that was a terrible tragedy. But over in Soviet Union, they killed, I think, like 3 million more people than Hitler did.
Yeah, Stalin killed way more.
yeah, I mean, the amount of soldiers that were just lost as well. Yeah.
But they won the war, so we don't look at them that badly.
Well, we do now.
We do now because, again,
Because Ukraine.
hindsight is 2020. But at the
Also,
time,
current sight. I mean,
Yeah, current sight is like hey, we don't like these guys. Yeah. I find it strange, like the Russia-Ukraine conflict. I've got, I guess it's like a relatively, it could be a controversial opinion. I'm not sure. Where it's like, why don't we just stop? Give them Crimea, give them something like a little bit of land. I understand it's fucked up that they are taking this land. We're not meant to give them a win. But Vladimir won't stop until he gets at least some form of a win. Because he can't go out politically on his own country's terms and say, hey, yeah, we lost. Because that won't fly with anyone within the party. It won't fly within anyone within his political sphere and his friend's sphere, anything like that. It won't fly. So,
oh no, of course not.
So he's going to do
What
everything in
you
his power to just push and push and push as much as he can. And he's not going to win because on the land battle, he's been firing missiles at Kiev again, and like just all this kind of really terrible shit is happening. And it's like, yeah, it's terrible, but it's not going to stop us, especially if we just keep pushing at them. my hope is that we just get to the end of the Ukraine border at some point and like push them out of the territory, and then but then at that point we need to stop. We can't just push into their territory further. That's the thing I'm afraid of, is like people are going to get scary and just run with it. Then nukes will probably go start into the conversation even more than they are now. So
I definitely think that Ukraine has got a level head when they're planning these things, and I think they will not like, I'm going to take a bit of Russia now. I doubt that's going to happen.
Hopefully not.
I doubt it. I highly doubt it, because they're just fighting a defensive, protracted war. They're not looking for any kind of land grab. They're not looking for any kind of concessions. I think they're just trying to survive.
Yeah, that's true. Hopefully everything will go fine.
So I think if they can get out of it, I think the main goal for them is to come out of this unscathed. I don't know. I could be totally wrong. They might be like, I'm going to take like Crimea back, which would be terrible.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the main thing. Like as soon as we start to take too much of it back,
which would be awful.
Yeah.
Because back to what you were saying, Putin can't take a loss. He cannot lose this war.
Yeah, I could have sworn that Crimea itself was in Ukraine, though, wasn't it? Or am I wrong?
It was in Ukraine, and then it was taken over by pro-Russian separatists, and then it got annexed by Russia in, I think, 2014.
Yeah, that's fair. So yeah, taking back Crimea might be a pretty difficult one to do, yeah. Like, especially since it's like a strategically very, very powerful location.
Oh, definitely. So that might be on the agenda. I don't know what's going on. Obviously, I'm just a guy in a podcast, but
yeah, exactly. That's a good thing we should probably preface the podcast with as well every now and again. Is like, none of us are professionals in the field. We're just giving our opinions based on limited amounts of information. Feel free to do your own research and everything that you want to do. None of us have researched this topic massively heavily because we're just kind of interesting stuff sometimes. So yeah.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I don't do any fact checking pretty much ever. I get all of my information secondhand, and
exactly, that's usually the way to do it. Like, just
it might live in my own little like bubble, yeah, but it keeps me from being harmed.
That's true. Yeah, it can be important to keep your own mental health in check. Like when it comes to like I've been a victim to that, like overanalyzing political stuff and being like starting to get fear mongering and like start to really, really involve yourself with it, because then it just starts to take over your world.
Mm-hmm. There was definitely a point where I was prescribed to not watch the news by my psychiatrist or my psychologist. She was like, do not watch the news. Do not concern yourself with anything that's going on. Focus on your mental health right now, because that is way more important than whatever's going on in the world.
Like at the end of the day, the way I see it now is like my therapist was telling me as well, is that anything you can't influence with your own actions, beliefs, or thoughts, don't think about. Because she said it's quite literally pointless and it's a waste of energy, because you cannot impact it. If you can't impact it with your words, with your influence, with your actions, with anything, then you don't need to think about it. And until the time, and obviously it frees up space in your mind, which then frees up space to do more things, to eventually get more influence and impact and do more stuff. So
exactly.
I feel like it's humanity's curse a little bit sometimes, which is we try to make the jump to have an impact on something that we don't actually have an influence over yet. Mm-hmm. Like trying to skip too many steps ahead. Like we all want to be rich, but we don't want to take all the steps to get that kind of thing. It's just how it is all the time.
Mm-hmm. I think it's something to be said too about like everybody needs to have an opinion on everything nowadays.
That's true, yeah. Sometimes you just don't need to talk about it.
Sometimes you just I am indifferent about the situation, and that's all there is to it. I don't have to have an opinion about every little thing that's going on.
Exactly. Like if someone started to ask me why I don't care enough about the Yemenis conflict with Saudi Arabia, I'd be like, because I just don't have a massive interest in it.
Mm-hmm.
I know little bits and bobs. I think it's horrible that conflict happens anyway. I think murder should be stopped and just in general, all that kind of stuff. But no, I don't know a huge amount about the conflict, so no. Or war, I guess, depending on which way you want to look at it. Yeah.
Conflict, war, it's almost interchangeable these days.
At the end of the day, it's still people killing each other. So
right, exactly. And it's like, I just don't have an opinion on most things because I don't concern myself with things that are outside of my control, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, yeah.
I don't really care about the Ukraine war because it doesn't really affect me, and there's no point, unless it gets to the point where nukes actually start flying, It doesn't actually concern me in any way, and me getting concerned about it is just going to make me stress unnecessarily and worry about, oh, is this gonna affect me? Probably not. It's over 1,000 miles away,
Yeah, I get you.
pretty far removed from it in every way that I can be.
I mean, is it anywhere you can be? Yeah, exactly.
Unless something happens to you, because you're actually closer to it geographically,
True.
I have nothing to worry about.
No, I'll use my Matrix powers to like fucking. I see a nuke, I'm like deleted. like mysteriously, some numbers appeared around the missile, and suddenly it was gone. We cannot figure out how the fuck it happened. Can you imagine having that kind of power? It's like Neo level powers, like missiles come through the sky, and it's like, nope. like just imagine being Jedi mind tricking, but your Jedi mind trick reality, like. There were no missiles here. And then God goes, there were no missiles here.
These aren't the targets you're looking for.
Exactly. Can you imagine tricking a targeting computer with Jedi mind tricks? You want to go back home to your base and return and explode there. I want to go back to my base and home, return there. Just diverts calls.
I feel like there was a scene in some expanded universe Star Wars thing where they mind controlled or they Jedi mind tricked a couple droids.
Oh wow.
And I was like, what? Wait, hold on. How do?
Really good control of your force usage to where you can reprogram them.
That's fair, yeah. Like you manipulate electronic current or something.
They've never once confirmed how computers work in Star Wars.
That's true.
That's fair.
Anyway, if you guys don't mind, shall we leave it there, do you think?
Yeah, we can wrap here. I mean, it's about an hour 20-ish, so I mean, it sounds good.
Because I want to play some Overwatch.
Peter, do you want to plug anything or anything?
You can definitely follow me on Instagram. I am Peter_Grins there. And that's all I got.
Cool. Well, if that's the case.
All right. Everyone, you can follow Peter Grins on Instagram. With that, we're gone.